Hey guys, it's me, Anchor64. This time with another video. I thought, okay, it's kinda been a couple of days where I made a video. I made a live stream where this is like 7 days ago, where I did Blackwing Lair and so on. And I thought, okay, why not explain some of the things I am doing here. This can be maybe useful for someone who wants to like improve their parses and so on. And I will want to give you like some general ideas what you can actually do. Some stuff, I'll also show you my mistakes as well, so you can kind of learn from that as well. But yeah, give you a general idea what you can do inside the raid, inside Blackwing Lair, to actually improve your parses, improve your damage, stuff you can use, tips, and so on. So I will go we'll go over each boss, tell you some of the things, like what consumables you can use, maybe like if you need to use free action potions, stuff like that. Things which can help you actually improve your DPS. Some disclaimers, however, before I start. I'm like not in the most hardcore guild, so that's one thing. But it's pretty fun actually. I like my guild. And of course I'm like not the best warrior player as well. So yeah, these are two disclaimers. However, I think I know what to actually do to get like the most amount of damage. Most of the time. Even though I still make some mistakes. But yeah, you will see that in this video, and I will also talk about it. Just for comparison, for example, like this is my character right now. These are like my parses. Of course, like not the most impressive, but yeah. I'm still trying. Maybe you are in a similar situation, maybe you aren't in the most hardcore guild, but you still want to improve your warrior gameplay, so this could be maybe useful for you as well. Good, I think I talked about everything. So that's that for the intro. Again, if you like these kinds of videos, feel free to like and subscribe. And yeah, if you have any questions, of course, feel free to ask them. I will answer them, of course. And yeah, let's actually start. Before we even start doing the raids, we need to have some, like we need to prepare a bit. What I mean by that is get every world buff, get everything ready. Get like consumables and so on. I like made multiple videos. Maybe I will make a consumable checklist as well as a video. I don't think I did that, which is kind of strange, but whatever. Yeah, things like that. So I pretty much have everything besides things like Dragon Breath Chili or that one plant you can use for 2 additional damage. I think these are really kind of redundant. But yeah, you could also use that if you really want to min-max. But yeah, what you can see, however, is I have pretty much every world buff. These are the most important ones. You really want to have every world buff. Yeah, no discussion about it. These are the most important buffs in the game. By none, like nothing comes close to that. You can see even I have like Dark Moon Fair buff and I have Rend as an Alliance player. So yeah, these buffs are just very monumental for your damage. Yeah, that's pretty much that. Other stuff, some additional really nice stuff, which will become useful a bit later. For example, this buff. If you don't know what that is a fire resistance buff you can pick up in Hubris. You need a priest, you need to mind control a spellbinder, and then you can pretty much apply the buff to you. It lasts, I think, for like 60 minutes. Gives you, I think, 83 fire resistance, which is very important for one boss in this raid, which I will also talk about. Good. So yeah. Maybe you would have thought, okay, that's maybe very useful for tanks, but not for me as a DPS player. It is important for like one boss. And it can reduce some of our damage as well that we take. So first of all, let's talk about Razorgore. I will also try to make some timestamps, so you can just skip through the different bosses if you want to have a guide. The general things we want to do is, we of course want to kill like the NPCs at the start. What our guild likes to do is like, most people like ranged stack on the platform, and we are like on melee, like the melees are like down on the stairs and so on, and we kill the mobs pretty much when they spawn. Yeah, that's pretty much that for the first phase. It's not really difficult, it's just kind of a chore to get through, but whatever. One thing you really want to do, however, is you want to stack rage. So if there are only a couple of X left, really try to get like 100 rage. Or like a bit less, but you still want to have a lot of rage. That's one very important thing. Another thing, which you will see soon when I fight the boss, is you definitely want to have free action potions. That is very important for this fight. If you don't have them, you won't really do a lot of damage. Just a heads up. So yeah, we are fighting the enemies. That's not really interesting. Maybe you will notice, okay, I'm using, like, so these are my trinkets right here. So why I'm using Blackhand's Breath? And yeah, I'm using Blackhand's Breath because on this boss, I want to save my CDs for the next one. So that's why I'm using this trinket. I'm not using Diamond Flask. If you want to do a lot of damage on this boss, definitely use Diamond Flask, use Death Wish. I don't even use Death Wish for this boss. However, you need to consider that you won't really have it for the next boss. So yeah, that's a thing. Unless your guild maybe waits or something, I don't know. Could be a thing, maybe your guild does. If they are really focused on parses and so on. But yeah, most guilds of course won't. So that's the thing, that's why I don't use Diamond Flask on this boss. But yeah, let me actually skip forward so we actually pull the boss. So right here we only have, I think, like 1 egg left. What I will try to do is, of course, get some rage. That's very important. I think I skipped too far. So yeah, now we are pulling the boss. And before that, you can see I'm going to mouse over this one, like where it says Fab. If you don't know what this add-on is, it is Nova Consumes Helper. Insanely helpful, actually. It's a very, very nice add-on you can use. You can make some bars, and then you can pretty much enter the consumables you have. And if you press left click on them, they get used, which is very useful. You can use them very quickly. So yeah, I think it's even better than some weak arrows as well. So yeah, we are fighting the last mobs. This one is the last egg, so the boss is going to get pulled. And what we want to do is we want to pop a free action potion, as you can see here. So now I have my free action potion active for like 30 seconds, which is more than enough for this boss fight. Then, when we are actually starting the boss fights, we are going to use Thunder. One mistake, oh no, okay, I didn't really make a mistake, I wanted to save it. But yeah, what you want to do is if you want to do a lot of damage on this boss fight, you want to pop Diamond Flask before even the boss fight starts. And you want to use Death Wish also like a bit before, because this boss dies very, very fast. He has only like 500k HP, he's very squishy, so he will die very fast. Most important thing, however, is using free action potion. So don't forget that, that is the most important thing. But yeah, we are going to do some damage. One thing you will notice, however, like my damage stun is actually bugged on this boss. It should actually reset when I'm fighting like the raid boss, but it doesn't. So yeah, the damage numbers are botched, so they don't really work correctly on this fight. So yeah, that's one thing I do. I want to see what I did there. Okay, I think, okay, right here you really need to be careful. I kind of make I'm really greedy, so I cast Heroic Strike a lot. You can see I have Heroic Strike queued and I only have 14 rage. So if I'm unlucky and don't really get a lot of rage on the next auto attack, on my offhand hit, it could happen that I can't cast Whirlwind. But let's see if it happens. I have 1. Okay. So now I need to, as you saw, I actually didn't cast Heroic Strike on this one. Yeah, here. I have 23 rage. I see, okay, Whirlwind's coming up. If I cast 1 Heroic Strike now, I won't have it for a Whirlwind. So that's important. So I let it stay. And yeah. I also waited a bit, so I don't cast Whirlwind first. You always want to cast Bloodthirst first. But I made a mistake here, as you can see. I'm queuing Heroic Strike, but when Whirlwind is on cooldown, I can't use it because I don't have enough rage. Big mistake. So yeah. Not really, yeah, but not really that big of a mistake, whatever. Because we are entering the execute phase anyway, I maybe missed like 1 global. So still, you need to be kind of careful. Don't be as greedy as me with like Heroic Strikes, because it can backfire. So yeah, the boss is dead. That's it. So now let's actually go to the next boss, which is like the more interesting one. Another thing I also made a mistake on, I didn't use Juju Mic'd. Yeah, amateur mistake, I didn't use it. Could have used that on that boss. But you can see like how you can actually improve stuff. Like small, yeah, minor mistakes, major mistakes you can actually improve on. But yeah, we are fighting the goblins, whatever, that's not really interesting. On here we are, of course, fighting Nefarian. This fight is pretty interesting, it has some stuff you can actually do. First of all, I'm switching my Trinket to Diamond Flask because I actually want to do a lot of damage on this boss fight. So I'm switching that. You will also see I'm eating right now, so I get like my food buff. I will use my Juju Mic as well, soonish. You will see that as well. How you are going to do this fight, before I even started, you want to cast Diamond Flask before the boss fight starts. The boss fight, he dies in like 30 seconds. And if you have a really fast guild, he dies in like way lower even 10 seconds, 15 seconds and so on. So it's very important that you cast everything beforehand so you don't lose a global. It really depends how long like your guild is going to take with this boss. If you have a really strong guild, like a very fast guild with a lot of pumpers, with a lot of warriors, you can even cast Recklessness before the fight starts, like right before the boss fight starts. Why is that important? That is important because then we aren't losing any globals when the fight actually starts. And we can actually just do damage instead of wasting globals on cooldowns. So yeah, that's what you want to do. Also, I don't have any rage here. What I could have done is I could have, before like there are some goblins you can fight, I could have actually saved some amount of rage, but I didn't do that. But yeah, this boss dies pretty fast. Another thing that's also really important is like how much threat your tank has. So you are kinda, like one of the really important things about this boss fight is you are kinda threat capped by your tank. So if your tank can't get a lot of threat, you also can't do a lot of damage on here. So you need to really consider that. We are playing Alliance, so we have Salvation. So that isn't really a big problem for us as well, because our tanks are really good. They have a lot of threat. They will keep a lot of threat. You will see that on here as well. But yeah, so that's not really an issue. If that is a problem, however, you can think about making some alter actions. You can, instead of using Heroic Strike, you can use Cleave, because that causes less threat than Heroic Strike. And of course you can like try to lower your damage or use a limited invulnerability potion. Things like that can help you to actually get less threat. But yeah, you will see the boss fight start soon in a couple of seconds. Yeah, as you saw, I casted my Juju Mic, so I have that. I cast Blood Rage before the fight starts, use Diamond Flask, and then we start the fight. Another thing you also saw, my Battle Shout was also active beforehand. That's one thing that is also very important. You don't want to waste Battle Shout globals while you are fighting the boss, especially on fights that are this short. Because again, you are wasting a global which you could have been using for something more important. But yeah, we definitely want to Sunder at the start. It's kind of slow actually. But so yeah, I'm using my Death Wish. I have my Diamond Flask up. I should have probably even... No, I think my Death Wish is probably fine as well. So yeah, you are pretty much just DPSing the boss. One thing you will notice is I have this neat thing here, which pretty much tells me my buffs I have on my like add-ons video. I think I have listed the weak aura there if you need it. It's very useful because it shows me like every buff, and of course it's like the main thing we want to do as warriors is to stack as many buffs as possible throughout the whole fight. So we also want to make like take huge advantage of that. So yeah, that's that. Now I'm thinking about, okay, I should probably cast Recklessness right now. So that's what I will do. So yeah, I casted Recklessness. You can see it's on CD here, and I have it active here. I have a macro which uses Recklessness and Mighty Rage Potion together. Both have a similar duration. However, if you like, the better way would be if I would have it separate, because Mighty Rage Potion is actually 5 seconds longer. But yeah, I think that's pretty much fine. So now I have 4 buffs. I have Death Wish, Diamond Flask, Recklessness, and Mighty Rage Potion. If you don't know what Mighty Rage Potion is, it gives you some rage. It works like a potion, like a health potion, pretty much shares the same CD. The more important thing, however, it gives you, I think, 30 rage for like 20 seconds. And yeah, that's pretty huge actually. So we definitely want to use that always if we can. So now I have everything lined up. And now I can start pumping the boss. One thing you see a lot of people talk about is use recklessness in execute phase. However, I wouldn't really recommend that. So don't be like, okay, the boss is like at 20 seconds, no, I need to cast recklessness. If you do that, especially on this boss, the boss will die. You have maybe casted 3 executes, because you're always, because you also wasted the global. And what will also happen, another thing, which is pretty annoying, is you will have like 5 seconds left of your recklessness, which are wasted. So do it a bit before, do it so you can take maximum advantage of your recklessness. So like the whole 15 seconds, you want that to be used. Of course, you still want to have everything up in your execute phase. It's like the part where you do most of all damage. But yeah, now we are in execute phase, and now I can actually do some executes. One thing you will also see, I got True Crusader procs, so that's what this one means. So pretty lucky. So now I have every buff. One thing, however, that's kind of very unlucky is the boss turned around. So someone, I think, either got aggro or I think he applied the debuff to someone. And that can be very annoying because also you saw here, you can see it, I parried the boss. Which kinda, of course, is very annoying, especially like you saw my execute got parried. So that's like one very big execute I lost on. But yeah, that's just unlucky. You can't really do anything about it. Good. So now we are fighting this boss. I'm spamming execute. I'm still queuing Heroic Strike. You 100% want to do that always. Queue Heroic Strike when you are executing. That's some additional damage you have. Especially on this boss, because we have like unlimited rage. But yeah. One mistake you will see. I have 5 seconds left on my recklessness. The boss has 14% HP. So I casted my recklessness too early. Bummer. So I won't have it like for the last 10% of the boss. My mistake. I should have casted it a bit later. But that's also always a thing you need to kind of experiment with. That's also kind of a feeling thing where you will see, okay, I fought this boss a couple of times. I will know when I cast it right here, will pretty much last the whole duration. But yeah, I made a mistake, but you can see like execute hits like a truck still. But yeah. However, like my death wish was pretty well timed. It lasts for the whole duration, and the boss is dead. And you can see I did like 2.5, 2.6k DPS. Pretty good, I would say. But yeah, I have a lot of buffs as well. So yeah. This boss really, it's really important how short your kill timers are. If you would have even shorter kill timers, this boss, you would even do a lot more damage. But yeah, it really depends on that. Good. So that's that. Boss is dead. I think this is like more of the more fun bosses because you can really pump out some damage. And let's actually go to the next one. So now we are fighting some trash. Who cares about that? Next one is of course Broodlord Lashlayer. There are like a lot of different tactics you can use on this boss. But we still do it kind of old school like, where we run kind of through, kill some stuff, do a kind of a bit of a mana break and so on, and then go to the next one. Before we are fighting, like starting the boss fight, we are chilling here, we are regening, getting our buffs and so on, and then we pull the boss. Depending on what you are doing, in what pack you are, in what guild you are, and so on, there are like 100 different tactics you can use here. But yeah, that's pretty much how we do it. But that's also not really that important for showing you how we can actually parse. One thing you will see is I didn't stack rage. So that's one mistake I did. You can easily stack rage on here. You see like some warriors also doing that right now. So yeah, I could have done that. But I didn't, only got like 14 rage. Another thing, of course, I'm casting Battlestrike as well before the fight starts. And what is also very important, you can, if you have the tier 2 free set, you can switch like your gear to that, cast Battlestrike, switch back, and then you will have the improved Battlestrike for everyone in your group, which is also very nice. But yeah, I am still trying to make it work a bit. It's a bit wonky. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Now we are waiting, and our tank will pull the boss. yeah, on these mobs you can start getting some rage. The boss is of course back there. I don't have engineering, I could have used that right now. But yeah, it's really dependent on how much of a good job your rogues are doing to disarm the traps. You saw we had some disarms at the start. I'm pretty late at the boss, which is another mistake. I used Diamond Flask while I was walking to the boss, because this is another boss that is pretty short, I would say. He's a bit tankier than the other bosses, but still not really that tanky. So it's still a pretty short fight. Yeah, so I will use Thunder. Now I will use like my ability, do my like normal rotation. Pretty much try to have a Rock Strike on every auto attack, unless I really have a low rage. That's when I don't want to do it. But yeah, this boss really depends on your tank, what your tanks are, for example, doing, how they are positioning the boss. What you want to do is you want to have your back against the wall, because the boss does a knockback. And if you aren't positioned correctly, you will get thrown away, and you will also get slowed by a lot. So yeah, that will pretty much hamper your DPS. Also, like rogues and so on always need to disarm the traps on this boss fight as well. Or you have him in a position where it doesn't affect you, so it can actually pump out more damage. So that's another thing. But yeah, I got some parries as well, which isn't that great. I noticed that right now, parry. So yeah, really depends how he's positioned. This boss fight is kind of annoying actually to do some damage on, because yeah, the positioning, the knockback and so on, it's all very annoying. But yeah, you also saw I used my Death Wish a bit before. Like, you can see like 50 seconds, on 30 seconds pretty much I will cast it. But yeah, now I have Death Wish up as well. One mistake I did, right here, or probably a bit later, I should have used a Mighty Rage Potion. But I didn't. And I will do that later, however then, it's kind of wasted actually. But you will see that as well. Mighty Rage Potions are also not that expensive, so definitely try to buy them, I would recommend it. But yeah, now we can do that, we can fight the boss. Spam execute, general stuff, but yeah, you will see, okay, now I have Mighty Rage Potion on. It's still on the execute phase, but it's very lot wasted. Like I have 15 seconds left, which could have been used on the boss. 1.3k DPS. Could have been more if I didn't make some mistakes here. But yeah, that boss fight is kind of annoying to parse on. So there are a lot of things that can kind of screw you. Next boss is Firemaw. And on Firemaw, yeah, there is a certain tactic I want to show you, which we are going to use here. So I will show you that. I think I had it even open. So what Firemaw does, everyone like in his range, in his line of sight, gets a debuff. I think it's called like Flame Buffet or Wing Buffet or whatever. And that one stacks and will do more and more fire damage. It also like the buff itself is also like fire debuff. So that's one thing. What you can do is you can use a lot of fire resistance gear. And if you are lucky, you can actually resist that one. So you can resist the debuff. And let's say you have maybe like 5 or 6 or I don't know how many stacks. And then you resist the next debuff. And if you are lucky enough, the debuff will actually run out. So it will start at 0 again. Which is very, very useful for reducing the damage. And this will lead us to actually doing, like, being able to stay on the boss permanently and do just damage. Because what you would normally do is, if you get enough stacks, you would actually line of sight the boss, go to a corner where you can't, of course, damage him, and wait till your stacks run out. But you don't want to do that, because of course we can't do damage when we are doing that. So that's the thing. How you can actually do that is you can use some combination of different fire resistance stuff you can use. So right here I talked about this buff you definitely want to have. That is what I meant earlier. So this one is very, very useful for this boss. So we definitely want to have that one. Like I said, you get it in Hubris. Priest needs to mind control a spellbinder and then you can get it. It lasts like 1 hour. And it's very useful for this boss fight. It gives you like 80 fire resistance. It's very insane. Other stuff we can use some fire resistance gear as well, which is very nice. And what else can we use? We can use this one. If you don't know what that one is, it is Fire Juju, which gives you some fire resistance. I think it's 15 if I remember right. So you can apply that as well. And we can use a magic resistance potion as well, which gives us some fire resistance for 3 minutes. Especially if we aren't in a paladin group, we want to use that. If we have a paladin in our group, he can just switch over fire resistance, our aura, because these don't stack. So that's very important to know. If you have a paladin in your group, just tell him he should do fire resistance aura. He should do it by himself, but you know how paladins are. They are not the smartest. And yeah, I'm just joking, of course. But yeah, that's a thing. If you don't have a paladin, I don't, as you can see here. So I would use a magic resistance potion. Good. What else can we do? Yeah, other stuff which is very, very important is a trinket we can use. So let me actually go out of this. Wait, let me actually switch over. So yeah, you want to use this trinket. Well, I am using it. Blazing Emblem. If you don't know where to get it, you can just buy it off the auction house. It costs like 20 gold. It's very, very cheap. But what it does, it gives us 15 fire resistance, which is very nice. Just base 15 fire resistance. However, it also has an unused effect, which reduces our fire resistance by an additional 50, which is a lot. So we get a lot of fire resistance just from one trinket. And if we combine everything, we will have tons of fire resistance. So let me actually... I need to actually go to the fight, because we are still fighting trash. Oh, I think I skipped it. Yeah, I skipped the fight. Yeah, I should... Like, this is a live stream, so I of course don't have any... I think we are fighting him here. So I don't have any times. No, we are fighting still trash. So yeah, now here we are fighting the boss. So let me go a bit back. But yeah, we are waiting here. Now we are pulling the boss. I'm casting some Thunders. I have some fire resistance gear on, but it's not really much. So yeah, it's pretty much normal gear. I could also probably use like my normal gear and like the trinket and like the fire resistance consumables. That would probably be enough. But yeah, we can do a lot of damage here. Now I will open my inventory, actually right click my trinket like casual. I didn't bind it. You can also bind it, it's probably better, but whatever. And you will see I have 206 fire resistance just without using the trinket, like the unused effect. So with this trinket I would have 265 fire resistance, which is actually a lot. But yeah, that's very useful for this one. So I'm going to use that one. Now I have it active. And I have like 2 stacks, and you will see some of our DPS going to move back, so they don't get a lot of damage. But I can still keep DPSing further. You will see some of our DPS more and more go over here, just to remove the stacks. This one also really depends on your healers. You see like a lot of DPS move. But still, I'm still on the boss. I can still do damage. I have like my HP is kinda... no, it's getting kinda critical. But you will have a lot of things you can actually use. You can use, some like Whipperoo tubers, which don't share CD with potions to get some additional health. You can back your healers to heal you, so you don't die. But yeah, we have very good healers, so I don't really die on this boss fight. And even though I have like 10 stacks. Another thing, how I use my cooldowns, I didn't talk about it. But yeah, this boss fight, because it is... because people are going to stay in the corner and so on and so on. It is not really a fast boss fight unless you have some other tactics. So you kind of need to consider how you use your cooldowns. So I used Death Wish right here. I used Diamond Flash beforehand. So I have both up. It's pretty much the same thing for every boss. So it's not really, I won't really repeat myself too much there. But yeah, that's what you want to do. However, I think I casted Death Wish too early. So yeah, now it will run out and I'm not even in execute phase. So that's one mistake I made again. Casted Death Wish too early. But yeah. You will see like 2 over 4 DPS, me and another DPS are pretty much on top here. I think the other DPS are not really staying on the boss the whole time. But yeah. Now I can cast Execute. I still have some duration of my Diamond Flash left, but overall that was pretty badly done with like my cooldown usage. I should have done it way better, but that's a thing I need to consider. I think I used my Ripper YouTuber, which I also don't have. Bind it, of course, but yeah. Another thing which I could have done. So yeah, now the boss is dead. Some pucks and some groups will just save wreck for this boss, and what will happen is if you have every warrior here, you will cast wreck, and then you don't even need fire resistance, so you can just pump the boss and you will die like very, very fast. You won't really have that problem. But yeah, that also is another thing you could do. It really depends how fast your DPS are. Of course, if you have more DPS, you will get less stacks. Healers need to heal you less for less, and so on. But yeah, it really depends on your group. I think like the fire resistance strategy is pretty fun actually. So you can stack fire resistance and you can keep pumping on the boss. But yeah, if you have a really, really good group, you don't really need to do that because the boss will die way faster. But yeah, that's Firemaw. I think one of the more interesting bosses. So you can use that to pass on here. Let's go to some other bosses as well. So let's go to the next Drake. Yeah, I'm not really going to talk about trash because who cares about that. So next one would be Ebonroc, I think. So yeah, it's that one. We are going to stay right here. Again, on this fight, I want to save my CDs for the next one. So I'm not pumping on this boss. This really depends on which boss you want to use your cooldowns on. I made the decision I wanted to use it on the next boss. But I will do more mistakes on there, which is kind of a waste. But yeah, you will see I won't cast Death Wish anything on this boss. So yeah, we are pretty much staying here. We're waiting till the tanks have everything positioned correctly. One thing that is important, also for the last boss, I am using Onyxia Cloak just for some additional safety. I really don't want to die and lose my world boss. I think having some safety is actually worth it compared to a couple of DPS you would do with maybe another cloak, and my cloak isn't even the best one. I'm still using the Strathorn one, so yeah, like the previous one. Good, so Thunder, everything, going to do some damage. But yeah, this boss fight is also very, very easy. The Drakes are very, very easy, to be honest. They're not really that complicated. Pretty much just loot pinatas, how everyone calls it. So yeah. Boss is dead. I have everything up. What I did during the boss fight, I don't know if I have it. Let me scroll back a bit. You will see it. I will open my inventory and show you something. Yeah, right here. So what I do is I switch out my trinket actually before the boss fight ends. I queue it. So what you can do if you have certain add-ons, this one is item rack. I can switch out my trinket. So right when I'm not in when I lose combat, I will pretty much switch over my trinket immediately. You will probably know if you switch trinket which have an on-use effect, you will still need to wait 30 seconds, which is kind of annoying. But that's one thing that is pretty important. Probably if I wouldn't have done it, maybe I wouldn't have actually time to use it on the next boss, because I still would have needed to wait 30 seconds. So yeah, the boss is dead. Right after this one, we are going to pull the next boss. So yeah, this one's the next boss. And I wanted to parse on this boss, so I wanted to do a lot of damage. So I saved my CDs. Let's see. Yeah, but you can see I have some buffs missing, which I'm applying right now. I have my Diamond Flask on CD. And our tank is pulling the boss. One thing will go wrong here, however. I don't know what really happened, but I think our tank probably got parried a lot or something. He couldn't really get a lot of threat. So you will see also the boss kind of reset threat. And yeah, no, it's pretty much yellow on here. I'm very high on the threat meter. So that is one thing that will also become a problem very fast. Soon you will see it. But yeah, I will do my normal rotation, of course. I casted Diamond Flask even beforehand, so you will see that as well, right at the start. because this fight is very, very short as well. So, and I don't want to waste the global. But yeah, this fight is a bit messy actually, you will see it in a second. So right here, now I could think about, yeah, I use Death Wish right here. And yeah, the threat is kind of a problem right now. And you will see that in a second. But yeah, I have everything up. I have 2 Crusader procs as well. Now you saw, okay, I actually pulled threat. So what happened is, I think, yeah, the threat got kind of reset. And I'm here, I'm going in front of, like I'm turning the boss around so we don't get the breath. But yeah, that's one thing that is pretty annoying about this boss fight. But I didn't die. One of our DPS died, however, unfortunately. That can happen. However, because of that, I kinda like brain lagged and I didn't use recklessness anymore. So probably wouldn't have been a smart choice as even to use it right now because I'm pretty high up on the threat meter. But yeah, still, I didn't use recklessness. I could have used it here. 14.1 seconds time to kill. I still don't use recklessness, which is a mistake. But yeah, you will see it. I will use it later actually. So I'm thinking, oh, I didn't use recklessness. No, I use it. And the boss fight is like only 8 seconds left. It's very a waste. I could have made way more use of recklessness. But I would have maybe also pulled threat. So yeah, that's another consideration. Yeah, you can see I am pretty high up on the threat meter. And now the boss is dead. Could have gone way better. I made some mistakes here. If I would have done everything perfectly, I would have got a lot more DPS. One thing you will also see, of course, I have Death Wish here, but only 3 seconds left, so I even couldn't use it for the whole duration. That's another problem. But yeah, this boss fight was kinda messy actually. But like I said, I also want to show you my mistakes. I think this boss fight was 94 or 95 Parse. Just for some, yeah, just for some numbers. Now we're fighting that one. I will skip it, so we can go to Chromaggus. So we are going to do Chromaggus a bit of an old school style. We are going to pull him here. The DPS going to walk all over here to, yeah, line of sight the boss. And yeah, that's kind of the old school way. The better way is actually to fight him right where he spawns. You will see like a lot of pucks and so on do that. But we still haven't adapted. So that's how it is on here. Yeah. Now the tank is pulling the boss. Let me skip. So yeah, the boss is here. We are going to walk. I will cast some thunder armor, of course. And yeah, some whirlwind. The normal stuff. One thing which is very important, which I also kind of made a mistake on, because I was kind of panicking. I got like a debuff which slows me, so I really didn't want to get hit by the breath. But the most optimal way to actually do it, like to stay on the boss, is you stay on the boss, you wait until you see his cast bar, and then you will move. Like this, you see, Ignite Flash, because you will have enough time to actually move, unless you maybe got stunned by the bronze debuff or something. But yeah, this boss is also kind of an NG fight, which you will also see, which kinda screwed me a bit. But yeah, another thing you will see, I don't have Diamond Flash up because it's on CD, so I'm not using it. So I got 1 Bronze Affliction. I have some Hourglass Sands, luckily, which I will use, but I'm stunned, and I don't really know what's going on, so I will spam it. So I used 2, should have used 1. That's another mistake. But yeah, I was kind of panicking here. So as this fight is kind of wonky. I'm using Death Wish right now. Also probably too early again. I'm not using Mighty Rage Potion, which I've also should have used. That's another thing. Pretty much what I can do, I can just press 5, even with Recklessness on CD. I will still use the Mighty Rage Potion, but I didn't. Another Bronze Affliction. And you will see, I will spam it, and I will use like 5 Hourglass Sands. Which is, yeah, pretty much a grief. But can't really say anything about that, to be honest. I got another one, so I got 3 in a row. And of course I will use it again. big mistake, Deathwish uptime, horrible, as you saw. Yeah, not the best. Like, I'm not even in execute phase and my Deathwish is gone. So, could have gone, like, yeah. Like, worse, could have gone worse, actually. So now I'm in execute phase, I don't have Deathwish up. And you will see my damage is pretty meh. I don't have Diamond Flask up. So yeah, now we are just rushing to kill the boss. And he's dead. If I did everything correctly, I think I would have easily gotten over 1k on this boss. But I really fucked up, and the mistakes you saw, yeah, it wasn't really a good fight. But I also wanted to show you some stuff where I didn't really do anything correctly. Also, our main tank sadly died, which is, yeah, really unfortunate, sadly. But that happens on Chromaggus sometimes. Next one, we have Nefarian. So, also the last boss, of course. I'm going to switch my trinket around, so I have Diamond Flask up. And the first phase is, yeah, everyone does it kind of differently. We want to try to stack every single NPC on the same spot. What will happen is when we kill the NPC, like the remains will still stay there. And in the third phase, like when Nefarian gets low enough, he will revive everyone. And yeah, the NPCs will pretty much try to fight us. So we need to kill them very fast. So what we want to do is we want to stack everything and use things like Strap from Holy Water and stuff, which you will see me doing. But yeah, that will be in a bit. But yeah, now we are fighting the enemies. However, one thing about this tactic, which is not that good, you can see Nefarian right here. And Nefarian casts Shadow Volleyballs, I think. And they will do a lot of damage actually. So yeah, you saw it right here. As you can see, everyone got hit by it. And you will cast a lot, which is pretty annoying for the healers. And another thing which can also happen is we can get some mind controls as well. Yeah, which is the other thing which can happen. And then if people get unlucky, they get cleaved and they die. So this is probably not the best tactic. I see like some other speedrun guilds and so on do it way differently. They will kind of split the groups, but whatever. So yeah, one thing you want to do definitely is you want to save some rage. So that's what I'm also doing, so I'm not really using everything. But yeah. Our tank already moved, so he's already there, trying to get some threat. We are still trying to kill the rest of the NPCs. Nefarian is a boss where he's really tanky, so that's one thing, of course. You see a lot of our DPS died. It's really unfortunate, but that's what's happening when you have it like that. But yeah, someone actually pulled threat here, I think. Yeah, I think kind of someone had put threat. I got cleaved. I almost died. That's not, yeah, I need to chill actually. You can see our tank doesn't have ward buffs anymore. That's one thing, and I think he got kind of unlucky as well. But yeah, that's a problem we have right now. So I need to chill. So my health bar, like the enemy health bar is yellow, so I know, okay, I'm pretty close to threat. You can also see it on here. So yeah, I need to chill a bit. So that's what I am doing right now. Of course, this will hamper my DPS a bit. However, this boss fight is very long. He has a lot of HP, so it doesn't really matter that much if I chill a bit at the start. Really important to make sure that you, things like Diamond Flask and so on, that you use it correctly. And you don't waste it. Another thing I want to talk about is right here you can see he's casting Bellowing Roar. If you want to do it the most optimal way, I would cast it right now before he even casted it, so I would be immune. But what I pretty much do is I see I'm feared, now I cast it and I have it. What you don't want to do is kind of rely on DBM and so on, because it can kind of fizzle and then you can sit there waiting for the fear and you have Berserker Rage on and he doesn't do it. And then you are kind of screwed and you won't have it for the next one. So that's one thing you really need to consider. We can pretty much stay immune to fear for the whole fight as warriors. So yeah, we are just doing DPS, kind of boring, so let me skip forward a bit. One thing you need to remember, of course, a lot of things on this fight really depends on your group as well, what they are doing and so on. One thing, for example, is yeah, okay, this one is one example. We got the rogue call, so we need to turn the boss. So unless our rogues want to get clapped. So yeah, that's one thing you need to do. I also got stunned by the tail, so that's also another thing. Another thing is, which is very important, if you have paladins, paladins should use their bubbles before the fight starts, or like before the paladin call goes out. That's very important, because if you don't do that, if the paladin call goes out, the boss gets bubbled, which I think also happens on here. Yeah, here you can see it. Now the boss is immune, and we can't do any damage. And yeah, that's pretty annoying. So like every paladin should use their bubbles, but you know how paladins are. Like I said, they are not the smartest. I'm just joking again. I will getting some flame by my guildies if I say it like that. Whatever. So yeah, we have that. So the boss needs to get turned around again. No, I could actually use Deathwish, of course. And I could also use... Let me pause here right here. I could also use Make the Rage Potion, which I didn't do. But yeah, that's another thing. Now the boss is low enough where phase 3 starts, so all the mobs going to get revived. So you will see that here, all the mobs are here. I have Strength from Holy Water, I have some left, so I will use that. And you will see like a lot of numbers, which is very satisfying. But yeah, that's another thing. Good, now I will just continue damaging the boss. We as warriors, we have some AoE, but we are of course not the best AoE class. Still, Strength from Holy Water is very useful for this. One mistake I did, as you can see, the boss has 13% HP left. Yeah, 13%. But I only have 4 seconds left of my Diamond Flask. So I used it incorrectly. I don't have it for like the last 10% of the boss, which is one thing. Another thing, I didn't use Make the Rage Potion. Maybe I will use it at the end. Yeah, I use it right now. I could have used it earlier. So this is also another thing I didn't do. Another thing is our Thunders are running out, but we still get kind of lucky. I don't know if I cast it or someone else did. Can't really remember. But yeah, this one was also kind of close. And now the boss is dead. That's that. DPS is kind of meh, but I also didn't have wreck. And yeah, I used my damage flask incorrectly. And also some DPS were dead. So yeah. Went pretty decent, I would say, at the start. But yeah, got a bit worse at the end. But like I said, I also wanted to show you some mistakes as well. So that's that. That was Blackwing Lair. That's pretty much everything we did. So in summary, what is very important, and that also some of the stuff is relevant for every boss fight, really make sure that you use your cooldowns correctly. Don't be that warrior which uses Deathwish, Diamond Flask, everything at the start, and then doesn't have any damage at the end anymore. Especially when execute phase is coming around and they don't have any buffs anymore. You could do that, but that only works with groups where you have very short kill timers. If you don't, you can't do that. So yeah, you need to consider that. Another thing is, of course, we need to get all, you want to have all the world buffs as well. So that's another thing, which is very important. And yeah, that's pretty much for that. Other stuff, of course, like some Blackwing Lair exclusive stuff are things like a free action potion on Razorgore and some fire resistance for Firemaw, so you don't need to go actually lose the debuffs. And you can just stay on the boss and keep damaging. Good. Again, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask them. I hope this was kinda helpful. If I was too fast or something, feel free to say something. But that's pretty much that for this fight. For like Blackwing Lair. After that, you will maybe wonder. After that, we did Molten Core, but I think Blackwing Lair is like the phase we are pretty much caring about. So yeah, these were some of the things I do to try to get some high numbers. Most importantly is of course to get every buff and like every world buff, and you line your cooldowns perfectly. so you get the maximum usage out of them. You don't really want to end the boss fight and you still have 10 seconds on your recklessness or something like that. That is really such a big waste, to be honest. You could have used the 10 seconds on the fight instead and would have gotten a lot more damage out of that. But yeah. That's that from me. If you have anything else to say, feel free to comment. If you liked this video, feel free to like and subscribe, as always. And yeah, I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.